Alright, hello. This is the Common Man account. The sort of Convallaria, um, low rarity, well, bronze rarity, lowest rarity only account. Lowest rarity account. Well, today, it's not a tower clear video. Week 6 is done and that's been posted. Both on Reddit, Discord, and on YouTube. If you want to check it out, well, check the YouTube playlist. I make a playlist every week of all my clears. Please like the videos if you enjoy them. Subscribe if you want to see more of them. Today is a topic video. A first in hopefully many topic videos. If I get a lot of people liking and subscribing and watching, I'll make more. I want to cover topics that aren't terribly talked about. Mostly I'll go onto the Reddits and I'll see someone post a question, I'll give a reply there. Then I'm thinking, that would be something that if I make something or do a video would help a lot of people, right? Who can't say that a bunch of mercenaries and outlawish thugs that pillage tower every week, that we can't contribute to society? Sure, we stole all this stuff over here, but I think it's time for us to give back. So what we're going to talk about today is the speed stat. Okay, so let's take a look. When you go to your characters, right, I do agree with the people that say that I wish we had more filtering options. So I'm going to make a series of videos that I am going to filter it for you, and then we're going to talk about it, okay? Alright? I think I'll make a video once every few days, like in addition to my tower clear videos. So this video is going to talk about the speed stat. And sort of the logic behind it. Someone asked, what is this logic behind the speed stat? I don't understand, right? So if I look at my common rarity units, right, speed stat is right over here. Let's put my drawing tool on. Let's see, speed. Let's go blue. Right here, it's the symbol with the wings, SPD, right? Affects the character's action order. So, the higher your speed stat, the quicker that you appear on the rotation per round, okay? So there's no way that you can have such high speed that you can act twice in a round, right? You need a sort of a dancer ability like a Nana to have you act again, right? However, in a different video, we'll go over how you can manipulate speed of yourself and opponents in order to kind of get the similar effect and lap opponents and act twice before they do, and prevent enemies acting twice before you do. So, hence why. And speed is really important in this game because of the ebb and flow of battle and counter rolls and how you do your tactics. So 160. It's also good to learn to organize and know this for just readily available, like being able to group the information and know who's going to act first, second, third, without necessarily looking and relying on the turn order numbers, right? You can just kind of assess the situation just by looking at it and kind of remember that it's going to be the flow throughout the rest of the combat without any changes to speed. So 160 is the speed for Mist the Ninja, right? We go over to Outlaw Guard. He's 230. Some people are like, he's a defender unit. Why are they faster than the assassins, right? And he's Mist the Ninja, right? Why is Buckler the Tank the fastest unit in my team? Right? And Mist the Ninja is 160, right? Flippin', what is my of the common units I use? It seems that my archer, right, is at 96 speed. Right there, 96 speed. Right? So he is the slowest of slow. Right? And then Buckler is my fastest. Fast. Okay? So, why is that? We're going to go over it. It's more due to, like, the effectiveness. It enables the units to be more effective in combat by having the certain turn order, right? And if I kind of zoom out of my common units for a second and go to all the units, right? Some people go, okay, well, what's the logic, right? We have the tanks that are fast. Well, they're not actually the fastest. Let's get Popple. I do like PayPal Ice Priestess. It's fun to say, right? Papal Ice Priest. I actually prefer to call him Pip. P-I-P. He's Pip, right? So it's my Pip boy over here. But I don't use them on this account, unfortunately. I use it in the other accounts. Not accounts. My main account, I would. So this is a Pip, though. And Pip boy, he's at, if you notice, a nice, cool 270 speed, right? That's faster than the tank that I talked about earlier, right? And then we got Mytha at 243. Okay, Rawia. So Xavier's at 193. So Inanna is 65. So Gloria's at 215. Now some people would be like, okay, well maybe the Watcher units are like the slowest, right? Because if you organize by Watcher units, you go, all right, well let's see, Watcher units 104, 94, 93, 65. You're like, okay, sure. But then you get 111. Okay, that sounds good. And then you get Gloria at 215, and you go, okay, that didn't make any sense. Papal Ice Priest 270. You're like, okay, so the fastest units are Watcher units, and they're also the slowest units. And then nope, nuh-uh, because then you go Destroyers, and Abyss is also at 270, right? But they're 119, which are faster than the Watchers. So, right? So to make sense of this, I took note of everyone's speed, and this is where the music's going to go away. And I'm sorry, but the music's going to go away. Okay, so this is what I did. Boop. I went through everyone's speed. Okay. Stat. And even the enemies in the game, I'm compiling this list. Okay. I took the data from this list and I turned it into this beautiful graphic over here. Okay. So we're going to talk about this, and I'm sorry, I just do this off my phone, and then maybe you guys in the comments can tell me like how I can add maybe background music to a screen recording of a mobile device. That would be great, because then I love having little RPG music in the background, make for a better video. But you know, this is going to be my voice. Okay, so and I have divined the logic here. So here we go. Let's go over the breakdown, shall we? So CC mages, so CC stands for crowd control. Okay, so right over here, let's get a different color here. So right there, okay, yes, I pointed an arrow. Okay, that was unnecessary. We have Simona, right, at 271, Abyss, and we also have Pip Boy right over there. Now CC mages, someone articulated well in Reddit. Essentially, like, these are the mages that need to do some form of setup, right? They need, and that's why they're so quick. They tend to do area of effect spells. They change the environment, or they're heavily debilitating the other team in a profound way with like a bunch of debuffs, just like Abyss, or with like slowing or reducing their movement, which in the case of Simona, right, or Pip, or PayPal, Ice Priest. So essentially, like, if they didn't have that speed, they would be reduced in effectiveness because, like, it would just be like this weird, like, at least that's what the game designers have chosen, to have them act first so you can set the stage as it is, right? Abyss, right? What's the point of being able to have all bunch of area of effect debuff spells, especially things like life loss, which require the enemy to take a turn, right? Well, like, and then you want to have all that apply to the enemy first, then, right, you get to attack them with a bunch of debuffs, right? Because then your whole team moves, right? So, so that's the thought behind the CC mages. Next, we have Defender, going from 220 to 250 speed. So we have, let's go ahead and turn. So we have right over here, we have our PayPal guard, Mytha, recruited guard. We have a KA guard, suppression, knighted guard, Teden, Nurgle, Magnus, outlaw guard, and Alexi. Right now, this is what when you look at this list, they're in order from the highest speed to lowest in their tier. So on the left, you're going to see that PayPal guard is the fastest of the defender units, and Alexi is the slowest. Okay, so that's just how that's all organized for your viewing pleasure, right? Defenders are going to be the next ones to go, right? And they're going to go as a group. Defenders, their job is to protect the team. So if you think about the previous round, right? You start the new round, they're reacting to the combat and have to position themselves in a way to further help their team out. A lot of these units tend to have assisted cover skills. So, I mean, they would make a cruddy tank if they can't position first and then be able to position around their allies, or zone and take areas of the field and then have the allies move after them, right? Zone out your opponents, take areas of the map, right? And then protect your allies. So that's why they go first in the design of this game flow of the tactics of this game. So next, after defenders go, we have the melee watchers. So far, there are 3 of them, right? We have Gloria, Flare, and Butterfly. Now, melee watchers have a speed of 210 to 219, right? So all these people do is they tend to do support, right? But they tend to kind of support by leading the charge, right? So they tend to have support buffs, right? So Gloria, really known for increasing the movement speed and the damage reduction and like just buffing your team well, you can't really lead the charge if like you're slow, right? Right? Can you imagine if she had like 4 speed and she's like, all right, guys, let's go. And then like everyone's gone. Like they're like, we know, Gloria, like you need to keep up, right? So Flare, right, is a unit that like attacks and then heals for their team. So it's kind of almost like a hybrid defender type unit, right? And a support. So that's nice, right? Butterfly helps with repositioning and also providing some buffs to the team, like lifesteal. Lifesteal isn't quite, again, like setup is needed. Isn't quite good if you do the lifesteal buff after everyone attacked, right? So these are also some setup type units, right? So that's why they go next in the rotation. Okay, let's go on to the next group. So now we're going to go ahead and talk about breakers that use axes and breakers that use pole arms, right? So it was very much interesting that in the data, not only are breakers next, right? But axe users or heavy weapon users, hammers, like Rawia, for example, she has a large sword. Does she use it ever? Nah. Right? It's just for show. Maybe she's a powerful illusionist. We'll never know. But essentially, like, we have axe users being faster than pole arm users, right? They go at a 198 to 209 speed, whereas the pole arm users go from a 185 to a 195 speed. Yes, I know, I just realized it should be like 197, but 195 was at the top end. So I just kind of kept it that way. Like, you can edit, I mean, it should be 197. I might want to change that. It's bothering me now. Dang it. Anyways, so why breakers next? Well, like, what was one of the roles that went before us? Well, one of the roles that went before us was the defender class, right? And who counters defenders? Breakers, right? Breakers counter defenders. So, again, like in a in a tactical SRPG type game, right? Like, you want to encourage the combat. And especially since this game does have a PvP, a live PvP feature, right? You want to encourage in the design of the game to have combat occur, right? And you want to reward good tactical positioning and usage of the units, right? With like proper movement, placement, and so like by having the units that go first be countered, right, by units that come after, right, then it really like punishes, right, like players who just kind of just go willy-nilly without thinking, right? Hence why the auto AI can get you in a little bit of a trouble situation, right? Like, how many times have people seen the AI just go ham and you're just like, why, right? That's another big reason. Since the speed of all these characters, right? Essentially, when you go down, like, and look at this list, you'll see that like then each next tier, there's groups that counter the tiers before it, right? And will do way more damage to the previous tiers of units that have already gone. So that's why when you put auto AI, not only is it weird placement of the units and like them using skills and doing friendly fire and killing your own units, right? After they've gone, well, the enemy goes and then they punish you, right? So if your units go before they do, you're the one that gets punished for bad placement. If the enemies go before you do, you punish the enemies, right? So it's just kind of like this massacre that occurs when you just put auto AI, right? And both sides. Oh man, right? Oof. Okay. So, anyways, got a little sidetracked, but again, want to talk about this topic at length. Breakers, axe users, breakers, pole arms. Now, breakers are a class that specialize in breaking through the defensive line, right? The defensive line set by the defender class specifically, okay? Breakers tend to have AoE skills or area of effect skills. You can't do assisted cover on an area of effect type skill or a ground type skill, right? So not only do they have the class disadvantage, right, on the triangle, so you have like the breakers, right, being red, right? Then you have defenders being green. You have seekers being a blue color, right? Well, breakers take care of the defenders, right? So you have that sort of triangle type effect going on. So defenders have moved. Now it's melee watchers have moved, right? Now it's time to use these units to take the opportunity to kind of like ruin the formation, right? So you have units like Raria, right? She has a lot of knockback in her kit, right? So when enemies attack her, she kicks them away. She knocks them off. Her basic attack does knockback, right? So not only does she do a lot of single target damage, and she also has an area of effect, right? Skill. And then her subsequent attacks do area of effect damage. She also knocks units away. So defenders like being in specific spots. You knock them away. They can't really guard because they're not there anymore, right? You can kick a defender off and kill them immediately. Like if they're near a spot where they just fall to their doom or drown, right? So that's what a lot of the breaker axe users are for. Like they're known for doing a lot of area of effect. And they also have a lot of reduced healing as well in their kits. Okay, so next we have the breaker polearm. Again, these units, they tend to have a lot of either sweeping attacks right in front of them or linear area of effect skills, right? And they could, if positioned in certain ways, be able to hit through and hit the back line with the area of effect skills, right? But more so than not, they have a lot of good single target damage, right? And they're meant to kill defender units. A lot of these units have shield break on them. So like Outlaw Pikeman, for example, has a shield break. So he's known for being used in weapon trials, right? And on the weapon trial 3, where the boss puts a giant shield, right? He has vulnerability. He has physical defense down, and then he has shield break. So like he's just a great unit for attacking defenders, right? You got Tempest here, right? Iggy, right? I recommend watching that really good Reddit post with the Iggy showing the damage skill showcase. Another reason why I want to do these type of videos is breaker type units tend to not get a lot of play. They're not really well understood. I think it's easy to like look at a seeker unit and be like, yep, that's the thing that kills people, right? Defender units, you defend people. Breaker units, why? Like you really have to play with them. I think Rawia gets a lot of love, but you look at PvE tier list type stuff or just anything, right? And like breaker units tend to have it rough, right? But they're meant to break through the defensive formation and do a lot of damage to defenders or damage to the group, right? And bypass assisted cover. Okay, so that is breakers. Next here we got going on. The next tier, melee destroyers. They have a speed stat of 170 to 184. Okay, so you got people like Enforcer, I believe is his name, Guzman, and is a Dentalion? I like calling him Dantalion or Dantilion, even though he doesn't have double L's in his name. Right? Or Dandelion. It just amuses me. He's one of my mains on my main account. It cracks me up. So essentially, right, the next to go are melee destroyers, right? So I think destroyer is a really nice name for this type of class, right? Now obviously, Like you hear destroyer, you go, okay, yeah, because they kill like other units. But when you think about it, like every unit in this game pretty much kills other units, right? If played well. Even some of the support units have spells or skills that are offense, right, and can kill other units. So I would like to argue that destroyer units are called destroyer units because, unlike being part of the class triangle, right, they are designed in a way that help kind of they reject that weapon triangle or that class triangle, right? So when we look at who's moved before, we have defenders, right? Melee watchers, and we have breakers, right? Everyone that was a melee unit has gone except for seekers, okay? So melee destroyers can also do magic damage, right? So magic damage tends to be gated by a watchers or by destroyers, right? If you're a defender, a seeker, or a breaker, chances are you're probably not going to have access to magic damage. Now, all the units that went before, defenders, melee watchers, breaker, with the exception of the CC mages, all those units tend to have high physical defense but low magic defense. So melee destroyers can go in and, well, destroy that class triangle, right? So you can use these units, like Guzman's really good. You can pull a unit away, right? Like pull a defender or pull a squishy, right? You could use Denteleon, really get in some more like healing reduction or area damage, right? He can kind of form like a breaker type unit, or it can use him like a ranged magic DPS, a mage type unit. But these units can be used effectively against defender units, against breakers, against, and then you have, Guzman, he does physical damage, right? So, like, if you have a mage that's just chilling there, like, he can take care of them too, or they're just really, really good units, for that next line of attack. Okay, so next we have now now this is not a class roll. Okay, there's no Garcia class roll, but according to my data, all the seekers fell in line with 150 to 169 speed stat. Now I'm like, okay, well that's cool. So like in terms of class roll, right? Defenders went, then breakers, which counter defenders, and then later on, seekers go, which counter breakers. Well, that makes sense. Again, encouraging the tactical gameplay element and punishing like thoughtless maneuvering on the map. Now, Garcia, she stood alone, and I wonder if this was like on purpose or if this was a typo. Like if she was supposed to be 166 speed, if she was 166, she'd fit right there with the seeker category, but she's 176. So making her the fastest seeker without adjusting her speed through a passive skill trait or through an active skill. So 176 puts her in sort of the melee destroyer like type area, right? She's not faster than any breakers, right? She'll still go after them, but boy, will she be one of the first units to be able to counterplay a breaker unit, right? In fact, like it could be argued that her job is to eliminate breaker units specifically, right? Other seekers, you could think, well, any unit you can find, you want to kill them, right? And if you find a breaker unit, sure, right? However, a lot of other seekers tend to have like jump or climb that allow them to maneuver or get around behind enemy lines and then annihilate certain characters. Garcia strikes me as a unit that tends to be like, hey, look at the breaker's already moved. What an idiot, right? I'm going to pull him over to me and kill him and right, without having to go behind enemy lines. I'm going to stay on my side and pull units over and then kill them there, right? So, so Garcia gets a little bit of a talking point on her own. Garcia, hypothetically, can even kind of pull in like other seekers because they haven't gone yet, right? And then like pull them in and then like help with executing them or just severely diminish their turn. And if I was a seeker that got pulled in by Garcia, maybe I didn't die, but I think it's time to run, and I spend my turn running instead of spending my turn killing another unit, right? So, pretty good. Like when you look at Garcia's speed stat, really annoying when you're doing tower though, and she goes hecka fast. Boy, she's scary on that map, right? The one with Safia. Okay, let's take a look at the next category. Well, let's keep talking about seekers, right? So again, seekers, they have a lot of maneuverability, right? They tend to have the highest movement in the game, just base movement of 5, right? I don't think there's any seeker that does not have a base movement of 5 at least, right? So pretty good, right? I guess one thing to note is that one of the melee destroyers, Enforcer, he has a with his trait, he moves at a movement of 4, so that's pretty good, right there. So having like melee units that can move 4 tiles, like being like right after all the units that move at 3 tiles, and then next we have the units that move at 5 tiles, right? So we have 3, right, and then the 4, like with the Enforcer, and then now 5 movement, right? Again, part of that design choice, right? Have the mages that do set up the battlefield, right? Then you have your melee units move. The melee units that move at 3 move first. Then the melee units that move 4 tiles move next. Then the melee units that move 5 or even 6 or even 7, like move next. Very, very good. Again, encouraging combat, encouraging pushing, controlling zones, zoning out your opponent. Now, seekers, again, their job is to kill, right? Kill, debilitate, dodge even with recruited assassin. I love this guy, right? Like this guy is like really good at for dodging. We have some characters that can do infection. Is it Stinger or is it Enforcer that also does infection? Not sure. Can't do all of it off the top of my head, right? But these units really, really good at their job of assassinating and killing other targets. And map objectives as well, right? There's a lot of items on the map, environmental items that need to be interacted with, right? So these units are really good at achieving those objectives. There might be like a flag that needs to be destroyed that helps your team. So you send that unit out, destroy that flag. Maybe a barrel needs to be knocked. And then a lot of these units have maneuver, which means you can act again after you've already acted with your remaining movement. And they have a lot of movement. So they go in, they go out, they done. Again, some of them have projectiles like a Luxite shrapnel. You can use that to explode barrels. So very, very nice, classy units. Okay, next we have destroyer mages. So we have the destroyer class finishing up pretty much more or less the rest of its roster, 119 to 149. We have like units like Momo. We have Dark Light Ice Priest, or I call him Dip instead of Pip. This guy is DIP. He's Dip, right? Lash, Barrel, Night Raven. We got Fire Ice Priest. Dark Light Fire Priest. That's DFP. I can't say Dip, like, so I just call him, maybe I don't call. Flame Sorceress, and we have a KA Fire Conjurer, right? Fire Conjurer or Fire Mage. So these units, they are all ranged units. They do magic damage, and they tend to have a lot of good single target burst damage, right? So we're thinking of Night Raven. She has like 180% modifier. We have or giant nukes, right? Beryl also has good single target damage, but she has a giant meteor skill that like takes 2 turns. We have Flame Sorceress again with her fireballs that have armor piercing on it. We have a lot of units that are doing a lot of big nuking type damage, right? Or big single target type damage. Lash with her ginormous range and piercing damage. So a lot of units in this category that fit that bill, right? These are not CC setup type mages typically. I do know that Dip Boy over here, Darklight Ice Priest, he's not as fast as Pip Boy, right? And he has a lot of skills that kind of, well, not a lot, but he's not really a setup type mage. In fact, he gives a lot of armor to his teammates, right? This guy I'm talking about. So, and it's when he's around his allies. So you want him to kind of not go first. You want his allies to move, then he can position himself to where he needs to be. So that makes sense. All right. So, and why is it important to have the mages to go next? Well, as stated before, a lot of units have high physical defense, but low magic defense, right? It's usually other mages that have high magic defense. So if you are to look at all these units, well, again, the punishing continues. All these units have moved before these mages. They don't get to go until the next round. If you can kill them, there's not going to be a next round for them, right? So now it's your time to punish the next round of units, right? So very good. All right. And keeping in with the theme of punishing the units that have gone before, destroyers, they don't counter any role, but they tend to have heavy access to magic and are good at destroying breakers, defenders, and seekers altogether. However, someone needs to counter destroyers or else they would get out of hand in terms of game balance. And well, if you're a mage and you're dark element, essentially, well, mages are squishy against physical damage and they don't like the light, right? Typically is the kind of the theme. So we have these units right here, and these units are going to be your ranged units. Now, typically, they're Nungul over here is being a little sneaky. Okay, so that's why I had to change it from Watcher Marksman to Watcher and Destroyer Marksman. She's a marksman. It's just that her trait converts all physical damage to magic damage. So we could say this is the marksman category. Those that use bows or crossbows go here. They're at 93 to 118 speed. So these units counter, with the exception of Nungul, right? Counter the destroyer mages, right? So they have physical damage. They're at range. Some of these characters have abilities that ignore assisting cover. They can counter seekers, which moved before them, because seekers like to dodge. And well, so these units shoot an arrow, right, and ignore dodge. Ain't that a thought, right? So not only do these ranged units counter seekers, sorry, the destroyer mages. They also can counter seekers because they can ignore dodge. A lot of these units can have alert type skills or giant area skills. Again, a group of enemies just moved before you, so they might have pulled up in a nice little ball for you to do a giant rain of arrows. Some units might be a little too close. You might need to use a knockback shot from a crossbowman, right? Maybe you need to do something more debilitating. Ballista is known for having giant setup, right? And punishing a lot of other units. So there we go. In that category, you have your Lilywell, your Miguel, your Nungle, your Faycal, your Agili, your Outlaw Crossbowman. We have a Recruited Archer, KA Archer, Outlaw Crossbowman, Ballista. We got Divine Grace and Edda. Now, Nungle, she's not a Watcher. She's a Destroyer, but she is a Marksman, and that's just where her speed places her. I'm not going to grade another tier. We're just going to put her there. She does fit a theme of some sort. Okay. All right. So, very last, from 65 to 93, we have the rest of the Watcher units. And these are the mages, right? So, mages, they are good supports. They are good healers. And they're good at dispelling debuffs and giving buffs, right? So you want these units to go last because does it make sense for them to go first? It's almost like a wasted turn. Like round one, they go first. And yeah, maybe they can put a lot of buffs up, but then like they don't get to heal anyone. So all the damage happens and you have to wait until the next round to kind of heal. That might be too late. You want them to go last, essentially. And Inanna is the slowest unit for that reason. Another reason is because she has Act Again, and it doesn't make sense for Inanna to be quick, even the quickest Watcher mage, because she wants everyone else to go, and you can only use Act Again if a unit's already acted. Makes sense, right? So you can even have Samantha go twice, or Nightingale go twice, right? Angel go twice. So Inanna just essentially kind of turns into another character. That's how that tends to go in a lot of these type of games. I remember playing, what is it? Dissidia Opera Omna or something like that. Rem. She essentially had a skill that passes her turn and gives her turn to another unit, right? And people didn't realize when on the launch of that game how disgusting that is. Like I bring her and they're like, she's not a meta unit, and it's like, go again. And they'd be like, oh ho ho ho, I get to go again. And there's certain things that are not possible in any SRPG or any tactical RPG of any RPG of any kind without like that a character like Inanna can give a unit for acting again and being able to go twice in succession. Sometimes a unit has a combo, and like the more hits they land, the more the damage they do, and then you let them act again, they can reach a higher combo streak. They can heal more. Maybe they want to. They're rocking a hard place. So Inanna being slow makes a lot of sense, right? So and these mages have to react to what happened in the battle round and then act accordingly. And then having them act last means that, well, hopefully you have a better sense of the tactical movement and placement of the units in the game so that you don't put them in a spot where they're going to get killed, right? Way easier to do that at the end of the round. Okay. You may notice that I have 3 units here. It was on the tier maker, right? August, Lutfi, and Safia. So if I understand this correctly, August, he's a defender unit. So if we were to put these units into category, right, we would put August would be here in the defender category. And then we would put Safia and Lufty here in the seeker category. Okay. Now, Lufty is not even out as a character. So, like, the only data we can get is from story, but I believe, like, that can't be trusted because speed in that game, like, in the game, when it's a story unit compared to, like, their actual release unit might be different, right? So I don't want to use those values. And then I felt like, like I'll add and update this list and this graphic as time goes on. I don't think I'm going to make like a huge other video on it or anything. I'll just update the graphic and be like, here you go, guys. It's been updated, right? Okay. So, I know this was a long video, right? I just wanted to talk about my thoughts on this. Again, like you could have just took the picture that I had from the Reddit post that I'm going to be making with this, right? And then you can use this as a reference for yourself. You can use it in reference for your own videos or content if you like. It's yours to do with what you will. But I'm going to make another video. The next video I'm going to make is going to be talking about speed manipulation, right? And speed manipulation on how it affects the different roles of this game when you have speed up or speed down, right? So, like if you put speed down, for example, on a Nana, like does it really matter? No, it doesn't. If you put speed up on Simona, does it matter? No, not really, right? So, how to increase the efficiency, the efficacy of speed up or speed down on a group of units or on a unit in particular will be the next topic I do. I'll probably get that one done maybe in a day or two because I want to get this speed stat series of videos out and then done with, because it's going to be really important, like for not only for PvE. It's really good to have this kind of knowledge for PvE, but in that, this is really important to know in terms of tower. When you're doing really hard PvE content, it's really good to know how to finesse the speed system, right? And being able to understand what is value, right? Right now, I think people are like, as long as it's dead, that's value. That's true, right? But in tower, sometimes you're not able to kind of completely kill certain things, right? So, like, what do you choose? Do you choose to do damage to that unit or do damage to that unit? Like, which one's gonna like mess my team up more? Like if I have to play the long con, like what's gonna benefit me? Is there a way I can use speed manipulation to make it so that I can attack twice on a target unit? Right? And it may not even be to kill him, it might be to hurt him and then run away. Which is what I do a lot in my common rarity only videos. It's like run away. Okay. Let's see. Before I end the video, man, oh my goodness, it's a long video. But hey, sometimes people like long video stuff, so whatevs, and also if you look at the username, I am the ground sloth. So it's what it is. It's how I like doing things. There are two exceptions other than Garcia I will talk about here, right? So there are two units that I'm aware of that have passive skills that you can slot that increase their base speed. Okay. If there are other units, they might be legendary units and I don't have them or haven't seen their skill tree. I'm not a content creator program person, so I don't have access to a lot of that. And certain wikis for this game are still being in development, so they don't have everything. So I just go kind of what I kind of have access to. Xavier is a unit that, when slotted with his passive skill, he gets a plus 150 speed using a speed 3 buff. 150 skyrockets him beyond Simona. Okay? So Xavier is in his own tier of speed for 2 rounds. Okay? For 2 rounds. Right? And it resets every 5th round. So for 2 rounds, he is the fastest unit in the game. Then, for 3 rounds, he is not the fastest unit in the game, right? He is at breaker tier, which is reasonable, right? Like, it's reasonable, and he's near the top of breaker polearms at that, right? So that's pretty good, right? He's faster than a lot of the breaker polearm units. And then, guess what? Turn 5, turn 5, or is it turn 6? I think it might be turn 6. Comes around, and if there's still a fight, there's still a battle, right? Not only does he get to be the fastest unit in the game again, right? For 2 more rounds, he gets all 5 of his energy back. So, yeah, I know Xavier's rated as a really low unit character, and my main account has him, and this account has my common rarity unit account has him. I'm almost level 55 on my main account, and I can't wait to get his level 55 skills, because that's essentially when you unlock Xavier, is when you get both of his level 55 skills. So yeah, he's technically the fastest unit in the game right now, because of his passive skill. Another unit that has something similar is going to be this unit right here. Is going to be Lightning. Now, Lightning has a plus 50 speed, and it doesn't come in form of a buff like Xavier, and doesn't like come and go away. It's just a flat 50 speed, and that 50 speed pushes her from, I think, 166 to 216. So she goes straight up into Gloria tier. Okay, so then we would put her like right here, and I think she might even beat like Butterfly, maybe even Flare, right? And be right next to Gloria and be like, hey, Gloria, what's going on? What's up? Okay, so she's really, really fast. Now, do we want her to be that fast, right? That's a whole different question entirely, right? Like you can have her be so quick that she is able to maybe take care of maybe Butterfly before Butterfly even gets a chance to do anything, right? Maybe she assassinates some breakers before they even do anything, or at least does a ton of damage before they do anything, right? Instead of waiting for them to do something. I mean, that's the advantage of being super fast. Okay. Well, with that, that's everything to talk about in terms of every character that's currently released in this game, where they fit on this list, right? Explaining sort of the logic that goes behind sort of the design element from my point of view, from my understanding, right? This is what I see. And hopefully that you can take this and apply it. You can even reference it. Because at some point in time, we're going to have live PvP, right? And having something really quick to go to and be like, yep, I kind of know where all these units kind of go speed-wise, right? Who's going to be my biggest threat this round, right? Who's going to be my biggest threat, like, after this round ends, right? If a unit increases their speed, right? How is that going to affect like whether or not they're going to be a threat now or a threat later or a threat at all? I don't know. That's going to be the next video. Okay. Thank you again. Like, if you liked it, like, I know it was long, but man, like some people, some of you guys love long videos in a game you love, right? So if you liked this video, I promise not every video is going to be a long one, but heck, I'm not going to make a video like this like every day. Are you kidding me? I can't do that. Nonsense, right? Like, so if I put a long video, like I'm going to try to make it worthwhile. It's going to try to be doing something that I haven't really seen done or compiled before, and it might be worth your while, and you can like have it on while you actually like play the game or do some grinding or whatever you do in your life. Okay, well, this was the Ground Sloth with the Common Ren low rarity account doing a topic video, right? Hope if you liked it, give it a like, right? If you want to share it, you can share it. Do what you want. Thank you so much. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.